right, we are back on the Inland Marine Insights podcast here at IMX 2025. I am joined by Miss Tava Foret.
Yep.
Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Super excited to chat with you about all the exciting things you're working on. We were chatting a little bit before we went live here. We're partnered with the Waterways Journal here, just really speaking about, really trying to highlight like the people and ideas in the maritime logistics space that are really pushing innovation forward in a variety of different areas and different sectors. So I'm really excited to kind of chat with you more today about all the exciting things that you got going on.
Great, thank you. Appreciate being here.
And you are with the Towing Vessel Inspection Bureau, is that correct?
Correct.
And you are the president and co-founder there as well. I would love to learn, could you kind of give us just a quick highlight of your organization and kind of the background of that organization?
So Towing Vessel Inspection Bureau, or as we affectionately call it, TVIB.
Yep.
It's a little bit of a mouthful, but we were formed to be sort of the brown water segment or response to larger class societies. So a lot of your smaller operators in the inland sector were likely not to be a good or successful fit with a large classification society that might be more blue water centric. Okay. So when I say brown water, specifically the inland towing waters that throughout the U.S. So that was our primary goal. But it really started even before that with another organization called Quality Auditing, where we helped our now customers go out and vet their operators, the people that pushed their barges, and determine were they going to be ready when Subchapter M came around. Yep. It's the largest regulation the Coast Guard ever enacted. Yep. And so we started that work there, and then we had TVIB formed, and we were running parallel paths. And eventually TVIB purchased Quality Auditing, and we became one. And so the other core part of what we do is training and certification for maritime auditors and surveyors.
Awesome. And you guys are corporately based in Texas?
That's correct.
Is that correct? Okay.
But my staff is throughout. I've got them in Kansas City and Paducah, and then our auditors and surveyors are all throughout the river system. Sure.
Well, great. Thank you for kind of the intro and background there. One question I'd love to learn, and I think you kind of highlighted or alluded to this a little bit already, is, maybe how specifically is TVIB supporting safer vessel operations across the industry? I think you were kind of getting into that a little bit, but
yeah. So our role as a TPO, or a third-party organization, we conduct activities on behalf of the U.S. Coast Guard. Okay. And that's for compliance with Subchapter M. And so every towing vessel has to have one audit every 5 years, an annual survey every year for 5 years, a dry dock survey, and ISE, or internal structural examination. That happens once every 5 years, or it is twice in 5 years if they're in saltwater service. So all of those activities have to be managed, and we're charged with the oversight of those activities. We monitor those things, we work with those clients, we work with those auditors and surveyors that perform those activities to ensure they're in fact complying with Subchapter M and get to earn, keep, maintain their TSMS, their Towing Safety Management System certificate. So it's great. A mouthful.
Yeah, it is. The we're healthcare operators by trade, and so we're loosely familiar with Subchapter M. We navigate a lot of the Jones Act space and just the medical and personal wellness side of the house. But Subchapter M took effect when? July
of 2016, I believe, was the implementation and the effective date, and then true compliance, if you will, started, I believe, in 2018. Right. And it was a 5-year phase-in period.
Yeah, there's been a lot of chatter. A lot of the guests that we've been speaking with this week, it sounds like it's kind of exciting times for the maritime space across the board, with a lot of the pending legislation, kind of under our new, leadership and regime here. There's a lot of discussion about what the future of, maritime compliance and regulation holds. It seems like a lot of these ideas are exciting ideas. Have you heard any chatter about certain topics that are making people anxious kind of in the space, with maybe another, I don't want to say Subchapter M 2.0, but is there any other kind of rumblings or talk kind of over the horizon that folks might need to be aware of?
Not specifically in the towing industry side. There are other industries that are contemplating similar types of legislation, fishing vessels and passenger vessels.
Wow.
On the inland market side, I would say if there were two issues that maybe give them some angst, and they're here already, it's SASH,
Okay.
sexual assault, sexual harassment,
Okay.
and sort of really it's navigating the harassment aspect of that piece of regulation. And then the other is just cybersecurity, because it's new. It's not new, but regulatorily wise,
Sure.
it's new for them. And how are they going to manage it? How does it incorporate with their vessel security issues and what have you?
Yeah. It's one topic I did want to kind of get your take on is specifically the advancement of women in maritime roles. Your experience and your thoughts on that, kind of how that's progressed over the past several years. Would kind of love to learn your opinion on that and maybe your thoughts on where that's headed in the future.
In my 32 years in the industry, I've watched a lot happen. Today, matter of fact, we're recognizing Kathy Hammond as this year's recipient of the Mike Brushing Legacy Service Award. You know, Kathy was one of my mentors, and when I came into the industry, there were very few women in what is still today a male-dominated industry.
Sure.
But there were very few women in operations. And so I would walk into a room and there were one or two women. And so I had someone like Kathy that actually became my mentor, taught me how to find my voice in the maritime industry, be confident to speak up in those forums and what have you, which I think a lot of that pushed me and led me to success. There were not organizations. WISTA has been around for quite some time, but WEMOS, Women in Maritime Operations, is newer, been around now for a few years. And so I think women have some outlets we didn't have originally, and they've got those out there and available to them so that they can find comrades in arms, if you will, as they try to navigate things. And it's broader than even operations.
Sure.
You're talking about folks that are in HR, that are in the safety and the compliance and all the aspects of the maritime world.
Yeah, we personally have a lot of our clinical staff, like our nurses and some of our administrators that work directly with mariners day to day, and we're really encouraging them to be involved in WEMOS, and it's been a positive experience for us up to this point.
Yeah,
so.
I'm really glad that this next generation coming up, that they've got outlets like that they've got folks they can turn to.
It's awesome. It's awesome. Well, anything else? Any kind of parting words before we round out here? Anything that you would like to plug for TVIB before we kind of close out here?
I think if anything is I kind of alluded to it, the other half of our mission, the training and certification. And it's not just training to be a certified auditor or surveyor. We're in the process of developing a Sub-M 101 course program that really is going to be targeted at the deck crew level on the vessels, all the way up to the wheelhouse, because we're still finding that crews out there don't understand the impacts of Sub-M to them, what it means to their license, how it can affect their license, those sorts of things. Then you've got the safety, the compliance folks in HR. What does Sub-M mean to an HR person? And so we're really trying to, this is something our operators have asked for. And then even all the way up to the executive level. What does Sub-M mean to my company?
Yeah.
I'm a big picture thinker, but what do I need to know at my level about Sub-M? And so it's taking that core content and then tooling it and tailoring it to a very specific audience for when it's delivered.
Awesome.
So we're excited about that.
No, it sounds exciting. Thank you so much for kind of sharing that and coming on today.
Absolutely.
What's the best way for folks to connect with you or TVIB if they wanted to learn more or connect with you? What's the best way to do that?
Best way is just to reach out to us on our website, TVIB.org. It's the .org that'll get you sometimes. Other than that, we're on all the social platforms as the TVIB.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for coming on the show today. Exciting to chat with you. I know our listeners are going to enjoy it as well, and I hope you have a great rest of your IMX show experience.
Thanks, Patrick.
Thank you. Yeah.